Hi Scorpio, this is your reading with me, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus signs for November 2020. Happy birthday to those of you Sun signs who have birthdays in November or even October, really, because this video is going to be posted in October. I do that just mainly because I do a series on love, twin flame, soulmate, and also the general series, of course, which is this series. And by the time I finish, I get to like mid-November and then I start, the following month. So that's just how this series works. Otherwise, I would like cross the month into the next month, if that makes any sense. Anyways, that's just how my schedule works. But yeah, that's why we end up filming in October for November, because of how it works. Anyways, so we're going to have a look, see what's coming through. I'm going to pull a giant tarot card for your overview reading. So this is going to be really exciting. This is your card of the month. And we're going to see what's coming through. Now, if you'd like to win a free reading with me, do check out the description box below, since I do a giveaway every single month. If you would like to purchase a private paid reading, information will be in the description box below as well. They're done within 24 to 48 hours. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is intention bracelets are on Etsy. They are handmade, meditated with, staged, and they are there to remove obstacles and challenges from different areas of your life. There's so many other items on there as well, so do check them out. Crystals, teas, necklaces, anklets, you name it, it's there. So yeah, the review section is on my Etsy store, and also the link to my Etsy store is down below, international shipping, etc. My god, okay, my nails have grown so long. I'm just like looking at them, they look like claws. I know that that's the trend, but I just don't want to like catch my real nail on something and the whole thing break off. I just realised, wow, I'm like competing with my parrot here. Who's got the longer claws? Right, so Scorpio, as I shuffle these cards, this is your overview card. Oh, okay, right, cool. Oh, I know you saw the devil, okay? I know you saw it. You saw the legs of the two people on the devil card. Anyways, so the actual card for your November is the Two of Wands. So, what's really interesting, this Two of Wands here, and to be honest, right, we saw the devil. We saw the devil with the two people here, right, and their legs. Got these two wands, which is really interesting because this shows here two perspectives, two sides of the story. Okay, so that's really interesting here. We keep seeing these twos, and so what I see here with two is that, first of all, this here shows that there could be an interesting trip that you take. You might be doing some plans which are aligning you to a goal as well. But I feel here that what spirit guides are saying is make sure you look at both sides of the story. Make sure you look at your side and the other person's side. For example, if you are wanting to purchase something, for example, some of you might be moving, right? There could be a purchase of a home, for example, or a purchase of a car, or a purchase of something quite significant, let's say. Make sure you look at both sides of the stories. You do, check up reviews and things like that. I think it's really important because it's just showing here that make sure that you look at two sides. I'm just saying, okay? It's also interesting here as well for those of you that choose to do some form of traveling as well. Just make sure that you look at information that is being presented because, well, you still got the pandemic going on as well. So if you are choosing to do a trip or go like long distance, for example, just make sure that you check information and you keep yourself updated. It's just something that's coming through here. This is also about staying connected to the world and things that are going on in the world as well, which I think is quite interesting. That's never really come through properly in a reading like that, but it's the Two of Wands. It's about staying open to options and also staying optimistic for the future. Okay, so that's November for you, essentially. What's really interesting here is I saw those two wands as like an 11, right? Now, technically in November, it's the 11th month, but also if we look at like the 11th day, then you'd have 11/11. So there's something about that. You might be seeing 11/11 a lot as well, because you have got a card here about signs and synchronicities. This is about a lot of intense dreams. You may have a lot of dreams about things that have happened in the past. Granted, you do have Mercury retrograde, which finishes on the 3rd of November. So again, you may have a lot of heightened dreams. You might be thinking about people from the past. You may be thinking about past events that happened and might be thinking in your mind like, oh, if I could have done things differently, what would I have done? That kind of vibe is really coming through here. You may be thinking about that. But then remember, two sides to the story. So don't just blame yourself for everything, right? Because there's always the other side, right? So remember that. I think that's really important here in November, as you may get triggered. Also, up until the 13th of November, you've got the Mars retrograde. So it's really easy for people to blame themselves and to feel really upset over things that have come to an end, even if it may not be fully their fault. So again, two sides of the story. If you're watching the news, if you're watching politics, for example, remember, always two sides to the story, and I think that that's really important to consider as well. It's always there, right? So got the King of Wands here, so we have got Sagittarius season as well in November. It's showing here that a lot of things are picking up in regards to you feeling so much more creative, so much more driven, so much more ambitious. Your goals and your dreams and the things that you want to do will be much more lit up. So if there is something you want to do, you will find a lot more confidence in wanting to pursue that particular avenue rather than hold back away from it. So here I just see you going towards that goal, going towards that dream, making it your all, you know, ambition, fulfillment. Here you are going towards that and not stepping back. Again, stay open to your options. That's what I will say. Okay. Kind of like what I'm seeing here. It's actually really exciting in many ways. Page of Wands. We've got a lot of wands here. Yeah, it's nice to see. It's again, it's that really fiery, passionate energy that's coming through. You may also meet someone here that could spark up an exciting conversation. That's what I want to say. Okay, so yeah, for those of you that are single, it's quite exciting. But, you know, even if you are dating someone, for example, can be a really nice conversation that just kind of comes up and you're like, wow, you are my kind of person, you think the way I do, and that could be really interesting. You got the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is beautiful. This is essentially about working hard, and this is about you really taking on board your values, your dreams, your goals, the things that you feel matter most to you. So again, a lot of those of you in education, this is you putting everything you can into that, like throwing yourself into that fully. Those of you that are in a career or perhaps even unemployed at this time, you're like throwing your all at it, especially with this King of Wands energy. It's like you are motivation city. You're going towards it and you feel passionate, you don't want to give up, and you've got a lot of confidence here for sure. Okay, so Seven of Cups also represents your goals and your dreams. It's like you want to be successful, you want to be strong, you want to feel like you've got everything together. So yeah, I think that's really lovely. See, you've got a turn of fate here with the sun. That's beautiful. This shows happiness. This shows a lot of growth. It really does show you getting so much stronger within yourself. And at last, I feel like you're just seeing the positive in things. Not saying that you never saw that before, but for so many of you, you're seeing the positive. You're not holding yourself back. You're not determining your value based on other people, right? You're freeing yourself from this energy of feeling trapped sometimes. This Eight of Swords shows you having felt trapped, and I feel like you're freeing yourself. That's what the sun here is. Now, you may have a tendency just to sort of hop back into that little trapped energy, and it tends to happen, right? When you first free yourself of some kind of pain, some kind of some situation that's been really horrible, you do have the tendency to think back and think like, oh, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right decision, right? Because you can feel really guilty. And so you can just hop back into this Eight of Swords. You can hop back between thinking one way and thinking another way. That's totally normal. It shows you're human. It shows you have empathy. I see this a lot with people who are stuck in really toxic relationships and they finally have the courage to break out of those, for example, and they see the light. And then all of a sudden they end things and they then start to think like, oh no, but then was I bad for not having put in more time or not understanding this person more? And then they start to go back into this Eight of Swords, right? So that's what I'm trying to sort of say here, is that whatever your situation is, right? I just feel here that you're not going back into your like old self fully. You're evolving to a higher version of yourself, and you can kind of go back a little bit into your old self, but that's because you're growing and you're finding yourself and you have empathy. Okay, so just an example. Maybe it was a confusing example, but an example nonetheless. So we've got here the Tower. Now, Tower is ruled by Mars. Mars is in retrograde up until the 13th of November. So astrologically, it connects all with tarot, right? This means here, try and avoid arguments where possible. Remember, again, there's always two sides, but at the same time, this argument could be quite devastating in that sense, because for some of you, you may feel like you lose a friend through this argument. For some of you, you may feel like you lose someone you really love through this argument for, you know, a period of time, for example, where they may not want to talk to you and things like that. People have a habit of really just taking things very, very personally during the time of a Mars retrograde, and they get really, really triggered. So this is something you can avoid, and I think that by seeing this in October, hopefully, for those of you that just kind of don't really want to get into an argument, you can prepare yourself. But the Tower here shows just be a little bit wary of people who, you know, don't know, for example, that there's a Mars retrograde and that they are feeling overly sensitive. You know it, and that's your superpower. See, that's the beautiful thing about astrology, is that we can sort of know how things are going to go. Okay, so Two of Swords, yeah, it can be a little bit dodgy. That, right? Two of Swords, also two sides to the story. Also with the moon as well, right? There's always like two sides to the story. It's almost like, okay, the moon is so bright and lovely, but actually the moon is lit up because of the sun. Let's be very honest, okay? It's almost like an illusion. So sometimes you may feel like, okay, this person must really just be having a really hard time right now, must be really feeling challenged, and you may see it that way, but actually deep below the surface, there could be something else that's just brewing within them. Again, there's always two sides to the story, okay? Always know that. Sometimes there is our narrator, or narrator, should I say, that is always trying to sell us a story as to how something is, but actually in that person there could be something completely different going on. So always remember that just because you see things a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that's how it always is. That can also change your perspective to really believe that, you know, what you're being shown sometimes is not necessarily the case, but it is important to judge through your intuition. That is the moon card, okay? Always judge through your intuition, always trust your gut, always know that that is one of the best things you can do in terms of moving forward from something or understanding a situation. That is essentially you aligning to your destiny by trusting your gut and your intuition, not what your inner narrator is always telling you in regards to what you see, because what you see sometimes can be deceiving, as we know. Okay, so Two of Swords, you may feel confused as to what the heck is going on sometimes, okay, between you and other people, or between other people and other people. I would say trust your gut, trust your intuition. It will tell you so much more. Got the Hermit here as well, okay? Some of you are really spending a lot of time by yourselves, alone, at home maybe. That's why you may be taking a trip or doing something here, making some plans. I'd say the Hermit is really nice actually, because it gives you a little bit more perspective on things. You're really analysing a lot of things here, especially with the Seven of Cups, but we do have the Ace of Pentacles, which shows here that essentially, right, work-wise, especially with this Ace of Pentacles, you're feeling quite strong within yourself and what you have coming your way. And then also the the Page of Swords here is showing adventure, fun, excitement, you seeking thrills and doing things that make you feel really good. So it's a perfect balance that I see here with this Ace of Pentacles as well, which by the way looks so Christmassy, doesn't it? It really, really does. I see here a huge sense of gratitude as well. So I feel like your perspective is shifting, but there's always two sides to the story. And I think that that's really important here to mention, like how another person sees something that perhaps you've done could be very, very different to how you've seen it happen. And remember, people sell themselves stories all the time as well. So it's just something to be aware of. And I think that's something you're going to come to light with, is that sometimes how we feel is very different. But I think that you're going to be at peace with that. I really see a lot of personal growth and development here as well. Okay, so this is your reading, Scorpio, and take care and stay safe, and this is it. So in the description box below, information on private paid readings, free reading giveaway, all that good stuff. Take care. Bye!